2:08 a.m. and the Pulse Nightclub posts this on Facebook. Everyone get out of Pulse and keep running.
Police emergency, Latasha, your call's reported. Okay, tell me did you see the shooter inside of the club?
No, but they're talking.
What are they saying? Can you make out the words?
No, please, they're gonna kill us.
911, this is Dr. Lines being recorded. What?
I want to let you know I'm in Orlando. I pledge my allegiance to Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi, Hafidullah, on behalf of the Islamic State.
What's your name?
I pledge my allegiance to Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi, Hafidullah, on behalf of the Islamic State.
Where are you at?
In Orlando.
Where in Orlando?
Yes, my son was shot in the club in the Pulse in Orlando, and he's still in the bathroom when he's bleeding. He got shot, and nobody's going in for him.
On June 12, 2016, 29-year-old Omar Mateen shot and killed 49 people and wounded 53 more in a mass shooting at Pulse, a gay nightclub in Orlando, Florida, United States, before Orlando police officers fatally shot him after a 3-hour standoff. In a 911 call made shortly after the shooting began, Mateen swore allegiance to the leader of the Islamic State, Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi, and said the U.S. killing of Abu Wahib in Iraq the previous month triggered the shooting. He later told a negotiator he was, quote, out here right now because of the American-led interventions in Iraq and in Syria, and that the negotiator should tell the United States to stop the bombing.
Nah.
The shooting was deemed a terrorist attack by FBI investigators. Pulse was hosting a Latin night, and most of the victims were Latino. The shooting was the deadliest terrorist attack in the United States since the September 11th attacks, and the deadliest mass shooting in modern U.S. history until the 2017 Las Vegas shooting. Yeah, just 1 year later.
'Cause this is America, motherfucker!
Are you ready to tell him?
TV counselors say parents should monitor what children are watching.
Mateen was born Omar Mir Sadiq on November 16, 1986, at Long Island Jewish Medical Center in New Hyde Park to Afghan-American parents. His father, Mir Sadiq Mateen, is from Herat and immigrated from Afghanistan in the 1980s and became a naturalized U.S. citizen on November 17, 1989. Sadiq Mateen was a secret informant for the FBI at times between January 2005 and June 2016. Sadiq Mateen also owns a non-profit company named the Duran Jirga Inc., based in Port St. Lucie, Florida, which was founded in 2010, where he hosted a political commentary show that aired on the California-based Payam-e-Afghan television channel, in which he expressed anti-Pakistan views. His mother, Shala Mateen, was taken into custody after she allegedly attacked her husband while he was brushing his teeth on the night of December 7th, 2002.
I need to brush my teeth.
Both of his parents first settled in New York, having 4 children, including Omar. After being raised in New York for a few years, he moved with his family to Port St. Lucie, Florida in 1991. His family was described as being moderate Muslims and all-American.
No one makes cheese like the Americans, I tell you what.
At a young age, Mateen displayed a preoccupation with violence, the Associated Press and the Washington Post reported. For his elementary and middle school education, he attended classes in St. Lucie County, Florida. While at Mariposa Elementary School, a 3rd grade teacher wrote that Mateen was, quote, very active, constantly moving, verbally abusive, rude, aggressive, much talk about violence and sex, hands all over the place, on other children, in his mouth. In the 7th grade, Mateen was moved to a separate class with the purpose of avoiding, quote, conflicts with other students, and suffered from poor scholarly performances due to, quote, many instances of behavioral problems. A classmate at Mariposa said that Mateen was a bully, disrespectful to girls, and acted like he was better than his classmates. Another classmate reported that Mateen was bullied at school because of his weight and his Afghan heritage. His parents were described as dismissive of his poor behavior, while his father, quote, had a reputation for being disrespectful of female teachers and dismissive of complaints about his son. In 1999, while Mateen was in 8th grade, his teacher sent a letter to his father regarding an attitude and inability to show self-control. Mateen began his secondary education at Martin County High School in 2000, and at the age of 14 was expelled after being in a fight in math class, where he was briefly arrested without being handcuffed and charged with battery and disrupting school, though the charges were later dropped. While a sophomore attending Spectrum, an alternative high school for students with behavioral issues, classmates told the Washington Post that Mateen cheered in support of the hijackers during the September 11th attacks and stated that Osama bin Laden was his uncle, who taught him how to shoot AK-47s.
I clapped when I saw it.
When they collapsed, he stood up and was like, Osama bin Laden is my uncle, what the blank are you going to do about it?
Rental roulette.
But now rental agencies are... Okay, it sounds like we have some breaking news to tell you about out of New York. We're going to show you there's a
fire burning in the World Trade Center right now. We're just hearing about that right now. Let's see if we can get a...
We're trying to get you video of it.
Okay, this is apparently burning at the top of one of the World Trade Center towers, and obviously, as you can see from here...
in this incident, and it's being blamed on terrorist incidents, Charles.
Meanwhile, we have one report saying that the Palestinian group, the Democratic Front for the Liberation of Palestine, has declared responsibility for this act. On the other hand, we have reports from a senior official within the Democratic Front for the Liberation of Palestine denying that the group was involved in this incident. We have reports...
I see another plane approaching right now. Another plane just crashed in right now.
Another plane has crashed into the World Trade Center.
This is extremism. This is the mentality of extremism. I try to say, to demonize them. They are devils, black devils, evil.
Somebody call, please.
Under American 1060 with you. We're 370. We're slowing due to the delays possible going running stuff. That's American
1060. Jump out of the top of the building, man! Holy shit! That's another one, Lisa! I'm okay.
Terrorist attack on our country.
Home sweet home.
To the director of the FBI, and have ordered that the full resources of federal government.
After his outburst, Mateen's father arrived at the school to pick him up and slapped him in the face, with Mateen later being suspended for 5 days after the incident.
But tonight, another evening is passing, and there's still no word from Michael.
He was generous and loving, thoughtful, and the best father and husband that we could ever hope for. We just hope he's safe and not suffering.
We do too. Tuesday's terror attacks are catastrophic enough for the adult victims, but many who died left little ones who will grieve for them, and other children unable to understand what happened. Julia Chavez visited a New Jersey school where the staff is trying to help these children cope.
We're letting the children know that they're safe. A lot of children were concerned about danger to themselves, to the school, to their families, so we're just reiterating that they are safe.
With these images seen on national TV, counselors say parents should monitor what children are watching.
You know, if the children seem to be disturbed by it, then don't watch it while the children are in the room. Put a video in. Turn on another station.
Julia Chavez, Fox 5 News.
Soon after the September 11th attacks, quote, he shocked other students on the school bus by imitating an exploding plane, reported the New York Times. A retired Martin County High School dean, Dan Alley, said the school personnel, quote, tried to counsel him and show him the error of his ways, but it never had the effect that we were hoping for, and that his father, quote, would not back up the school and he would always take his son's side. Mateen was later sent to St. Lucie West Centennial High School after getting into a fight with another student. By this time, Mateen had returned and graduated from Martin County's Stewart Adult Vocational School in 2003. By the time Mateen had returned and graduated from Martin County's Stewart Adult Vocational School, he had been suspended for 48 days for being involved in fights and injuring other students.
I'm going to become a motorcycle riding security guard in the future.
Mateen attended Indian River State College's Criminal Justice Training Program, and in a questionnaire, he admitted to committing or being involved in a crime that went undetected, but did not provide specific details. He went on to earn an Associate of Science degree in Criminal Justice Technology from the college in 2006. He worked in a number of local stores and restaurants while attending school. In October 2006, Mateen began working as a recruit for the Florida Department of Corrections, being assigned to the Martin Correctional Institution. In a letter explaining his juvenile record as part of his successful application, Mateen explained the incident of when he was arrested at school when he was 14. He also wrote that he had experimented with cannabis as a young teenager.
I did it for them. I did it to make you stop what you did to me, to the future generations of the weak and the defenseless. Like Moses, I split the sea and lead my people. the weak, the defenseless, and the innocent children of all ages. You had 100 billion chances and ways to have avoided today, but you decided to spill my blood.
A tragedy of monumental proportions. That's how the president of Virginia Tech described the horror that unfolded there. The deadliest mass shooting in American history. It's a tragedy, and at this hour without explanation. We know that a gunman opened fire, killing at least 31 people, and that the gunman is also dead. At least 20 others were wounded. The campus is in shock, and America is struggling to make sense of something so senseless.
Following the Virginia Tech shooting in April 2007, Mateen suggested in a corrections officer training class that he would bring a gun to class. P.H. Skipper, who was the warden at the institution, wrote that, quote, "In light of the tragic events at Virginia Tech, Officer Mateen's inquiry about bringing a weapon to class is at best extremely disturbing." Days later, on April 27, 2007, Mateen, quote, "was involuntarily dismissed from the program and never became a certified corrections officer." Mateen then worked for British-based security firm G4S Secure Solutions in Jupiter, Florida, from September 2007 until his death. In 2010, Mateen, while working for G4S, was interviewed for and appeared in The Big Fix, the 2016 documentary about the Deepwater Horizon oil spill.
We're sorry. We're sorry for the massive disruption it's caused to their lives. And, there's no one who wants this thing over more than I do. I'd like my life back.
Mateen said of those working on the cleanup, "Nobody gives a shit here. Everybody's just get out to get paid. They're like hoping for more oil to come out and more people to complain so they'll have jobs. They want more disaster to happen."
Because that's where their money making is.
Yeah. It's all about the money, right?
All about the money.
G4S said 2 screenings of Mateen, one conducted upon hiring and the other in 2013, had raised no red flags. Under Florida state law, for him to work as an armed guard, the company was required either to make a full psychiatric evaluation of Mateen or to administer a validated written psychological test. The test administered was the updated Minnesota Multiphasic Personality Inventory, a test used for job screenings and court cases requiring those subjected to it to agree or disagree with statements such as, "My soul sometimes leaves my body," and "Once in a while I think of things too bad to talk about." Carol Noodleman, the psychologist listed on the character certification submitted by G4S to the state, said she stopped working for the company in 2005. After the shooting, Noodleman, who according to the records of the security company G4S, was said to have evaluated and cleared Mateen for his firearms license in 2007, denied ever meeting him or having lived in Florida at the time, and said she had stopped her practice in Florida in January 2006. G4S said Mateen was not actually interviewed by a psychologist, but rather a psychologist evaluated the results of a standard test used in job screenings, and his test was evaluated by the firm that bought Noodleman's practice headquarters for psychological evaluation. On September 10th, 2016, the Florida Department of Agriculture and Consumer Services fined G4S $151,400 for providing inaccurate psychological testing information after it found the psychologist whose opinion was necessary to permit Mateen to carry a weapon was not practicing as a screener. Between 2006 and 2016, 1,514 forms were submitted erroneously, listing Noodleman's name. Mateen's form was among those investigated. He had taken the MMP-12, and Dr. Syed Shafiq Rahman, a family physician who had close ties with Mateen's family, gave him a medical clearance. Rahman was also the imam of the Fort Pierce Mosque, to which the family belonged, and said that Mateen had become progressively more reclusive and did not speak to other congregants before or after services. G4S admitted Matin's form had a clerical error and clarified that he had instead been cleared by Rahman, who was from the same firm that bought the wrongly named doctor's practice. Rahman had not interviewed Matin, but evaluated the results of a standard test used in the screening he undertook before being hired. Nonetheless, G4S removed Matin from his job post at a courthouse because of threats he made toward co-workers, including one threat where he claimed he would have Al-Qaeda kill a deputy's family. Matin had claimed that his co-workers and courthouse deputies were making racist comments towards him. Despite this, G4S kept Matin as an employee, but moved him to a kiosk at a gated community in Palm Beach County. They never informed the community or its property management company about why he was transferred there. Matin held an active concealing carry permit and an armed security guard license. It was also noted that Matin had no adult criminal record. According to licensing records, he was a proficient shooter who scored at or above the 98th percentile with a 9mm semi-automatic pistol. In 2006, Matin filed a petition for a name change, adding Matin as his surname to match that of his parents. In April 2009, Matin married his first wife, Satora Alisherzoda Yusufiai, an Uzbekistan-born woman whom he met in 2008 through MySpace, a social networking site. They separated after 4 months and divorced in July 2011. In 2011, Matin met his second wife, Noor Zahi Salman, on an online dating site. The two married shortly afterwards in Hercules, California on September 29, 2011. Before that, she was married to a Palestinian, Ahmed Abu Rahma, from June 8, 2005 to February 26, 2010, in an arranged marriage that was organized in Ramallah of the Palestinian territories. Salman grew up in Rodeo, California, as the eldest of 4 daughters to Muslim Palestinian Arab immigrants, Bassam Abdallah Saman and Ekbal Zahi, a grocery store owner. Her family immigrated to California from Ramallah in the 1970s. She graduated from John Swett High School in 2004 and attended a business college in nearby Concord, California. She moved into Matin's Fort Pierce home in November 2012. By September 2013, they were living in a house in Port St. Lucie with Matin's father and another relative. She reportedly left Matin and joined relatives in Rodeo by December 2015. At the time of his death, Matin had a 3-year-old son with his second wife.
De que los agentes de la ley entraron a este lugar. Los juguetes del niño. Nuestro camarógrafo Juan Carlos Guzmán recorriendo con detalle cada uno de los rincones de este apartamento de Omar Matin, el hombre que protagonizó la sangrienta masacre en la discoteca gay en Orlando.
At the time of the shooting, he lived about 100 miles from Orlando, Florida, in Fort Pierce, but received mail at his parents' home in nearby Port St. Lucie. According to Florida Department of Law Enforcement records, he had no criminal record in Florida. Matin's father, Mir Sadiq Matin, said of his son's actions, quote, "This had nothing to do with religion." He was quoted as saying that he had seen his son get angry after witnessing a gay couple kiss in front of his family.
Good gracious!
At the Bayside Marketplace in Miami, months before the attack, which he suggested might have been a motivating factor. The elder Mateen had formerly hosted a political TV show called Duran Jirga Show on California-based satellite television network Payam-e-Afghan in 2015, in which he denounced the then Afghan president Ashraf Ghani, denounced the Pakistani government, self-represented himself as a candidate for the president of Afghanistan, and had expressed gratitude towards the Taliban. In one video of his show, the elder Mateen seems to call on the Afghan Taliban, which he called our warrior brothers, to solve the issue of the disputed Durand Line, which marks the present international border between Afghanistan and Pakistan.
He told NBC he visited his son hours before the massacre.
You saw your son just hours before he went on this rampage.
Exactly.
You said he was one person, and this person who did this murderous rampage was another person.
2 o'clock, he became another person. His brother, our sister, they got injured. I wish them a speedy recovery, and I hope this never happens to our great land, United States of America.
Following the nightclub attack, Mateen's ex-wife told media outlets that during their marriage, Mateen was mentally unstable and would beat her and keep her completely separated from her family. She also said that he was bipolar, though he had never been given that diagnosis, and had a history of using steroids.
In the beginning, he was a normal being that cared about family, loved to joke, loved to have fun, but then a few months after we were married, I saw his instability, and I saw that he was bipolar and he would get mad out of nowhere. Then after a few months, he started abusing me physically very often, and not allowing me to speak to my family, keeping me hostage from them. He was mentally unstable and mentally ill. That's the only explanation that I could give, and he was obviously disturbed. He was abusing me really bad for no reason, you know. He would choke me, pull my hair, and wake me up from sleep, beating me, basically. And, you know, I would be shocked because I didn't know what I did.
David Begnaud has a story of a woman who claims that she was stalked by Mateen.
We'll call her Marie. To protect her privacy, she requested we not use her real name. Marie claims to have first met Omar Mateen in 2011 at a courthouse in Port St. Lucie, Florida, where Mateen was working as a security guard.
The way I met him, walking into a courthouse, he held my keys as I walked in. He didn't want to give them back to me, and he said, I want to date you. And I said, give me my keys. He gave me my keys, and I went about my business. I walked to my car. I was gonna open the door, and he held the door shut so I wouldn't open it. And he looks at me in my face and my eyes and he says, I want to go out with you, and you are gonna be mine. And I says, no, I'm not. Get out of my face. He says, you are gonna be mine. You watch, you are gonna be mine.
And then what happened at Walmart?
At Walmart, I was one night at Walmart with my daughter, and I was kneeling looking at something, and he kicked me. I looked up to him and I said, don't you ever kick me again.
He came out of nowhere.
He came out of nowhere.
You just blew it off as an obsessed guy.
Yes.
Marie estimates Omar Mateen may have contacted her as many as 30 times over a 3-year period. We have not been able to independently corroborate her story, but we have no reason to believe that it's not true. Marina, there is at least one other woman who came forward telling the Associated Press she too was stalked by Mateen.
Mateen's second wife also said that Mateen became physically and verbally abusive towards her 6 months into their marriage, though she noted him being kinder in the weeks leading up to the shooting. A former high school student told the Washington Post that he witnessed 14-year-old Mateen on the day of the September 11th attacks being physically assaulted by his father, Mir Sadiq Mateen, in front of other students. Imam Shafiq Rahman at the Fort Pierce Islamic Center told reporters that Mateen would come to the mosque 3 or 4 times a week with his father and his 3-year-old son as recently as 2 days before the shooting, and said, quote, he was the most quiet guy. He would come and pray and leave. There was no indication at all of violence. Rahman added that he did not preach violence towards homosexuals. A former high school friend and coworker said that Mateen had no obvious conflicts with his gay coworkers at Treasure Coast Square, a shopping mall at Jensen Beach. A former coworker who worked with Mateen in a gated community in western Port St. Lucie described him as unhinged and unstable. He also said that he frequently made homophobic, racist, and sexist comments and talked about killing people. The coworker stated he complained to G4S about Mateen several times. Another coworker told the New York Times Mateen made people wait at the gate for a number of reasons, including if it was time for him to do his prayers. A resident who had lived at the community since 2011 described Mateen as very polite and a very nice, positive person. However, another customer said Mateen, quote, acted like a straight-up predator.
Times are getting hard, boys. Money's getting scarce. Times don't get no better, boys. Gonna leave this place. Take my true love by her hand, lead her through the town. Say goodbye to everyone. Goodbye to everyone. Had a job a year ago, had a little home. Now I've got no place to go, guess I'll have to roam. Take my true love by her hand, lead her through the town. Say goodbye to everyone, goodbye to everyone. Take my true love by her hand, lead her through the town. Say goodbye to everyone, goodbye to everyone. Times are getting hard, boys. Money's getting scared.
Next stop, Disney Springs again. As Salman and her son were in a store, cameras captured Mateen walking around outside by himself. Mateen goes to a gun range and practices firing the rifle he would use 3 days later to murder clubgoers at Pulse. June 11th, less than 4 hours before the attack, Mateen is seen wandering around Disney Springs. Cameras reveal there is a large presence of Orange County Sheriff's deputies. Cell phone data indicates Mateen then drives up I-4 towards downtown, hanging out around Eve Orlando Nightclub. Around 1:30 in the morning, Mateen heads down to Pulse Nightclub, where he would open fire just a half hour later.
Goodbye to everyone. Goodbye to everyone.
I'm at the club.
Everyone get out of Pulse and keep running. One survivor says the gunman was laughing as he shot others. A performer inside says people were hiding under bodies, so the shooter would think they were dead as well.
The first things I hear when I close my eyes are guns, bullets hitting the floor, and just that laugh.
We just ducked down and tried to stay quiet as long as we could.
told everyone to put their phones on silent so that if he was walking by, he couldn't hear us, but we can literally hear him walking through.
Original Saturday Night Dance Party.
It's the first time Chris West is sharing his videos taking us through his night at Pulse. Like so many others, he was there with people he loved, his mom, his best friends, his Pulse family, drinking and dancing in VIP.
We're gonna look good, feel good.
And what you can see was a packed night inside the club.
The excitement, the adrenaline, the drinking, the good times, the laughter here and there, the joy in people's faces.
Guys, run! Go! He's coming out this door!
On June 11th, 2016, Pulse, a gay nightclub in Orlando, Florida, was hosting Latin Night, a weekly Saturday night event drawing a primarily Latino crowd. RuPaul's Drag Race contestant and drag queen Kenya Michaels is recorded to have been performing right as the shooting began. Michaels survived the shooting. About 320 people were still inside the club, which was serving last call drinks at around 2 a.m. EDT on June 12th. At around the same time, Omar Mateen arrived at the club via rental van, parking it in the parking lot of a neighboring car shop. He got out and walked toward the building armed with a Sig Sauer MCX semi-automatic rifle and 9mm Glock 17 semi-automatic pistol. He was wearing a green, blue, and white plaid dress shirt, a white t-shirt underneath, and tan cargo pants. At 2:02 a.m., Mateen bypassed Officer Adam Gruler, a uniformed, off-duty Orlando Police Department officer working extra duty as a security guard, entered the building through its southern entrance and began shooting patrons. Dozens were killed or severely injured inside the crowded nightclub, either directly or by ricochets. Gruler took cover and called in a signal for assistance. He told a post-incident Police Foundation assessment team that he had immediately recognized that his handgun would be severely disadvantaged against the rifle Mateen was using. When he witnessed Mateen shooting two patrons attempting to escape through an emergency exit, Gruler fired shots at him. In response, Mateen withdrew back into the nightclub and continued shooting victims as he traversed through the building, sometimes firing into bodies without checking whether they were already dead. When additional officers arrived at the nightclub, beginning at 2:04 a.m., Grueller shouted, "The gunman's in the patio!" and resumed firing at Mateen a minute later. 2 officers joined Grueller in engaging Mateen, who then retreated farther into the nightclub and, quote, began a hostage situation, unquote, in one of the bathrooms. In less than 5 minutes, Mateen had fired approximately 200 rounds, pausing only to reload.
Oh my god, people are getting shot, dude. Get out of here. Oh my god, dude. This guy's firing off shots. Oh my god. Oh my god. Jesus saved them.
All we heard was boom, 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 boom. That's when I said, "Everybody get down!" And my best friend's husband screamed, "Everybody get down!" And it got silent for about 3 seconds. And all you hear is the tables rumbling and the chairs moving and people scattering all over. And I said, "You taste it?" And he said, "Do you taste it?" I said, "Oh my God. Oh my God, it's getting closer." The gunpowder. We tasted the gunpowder.
It's 2:04 a.m. Chris, his mom, his friends escape the patio, and that's when his mom presses record.
Oh man, let's go over here. Come on, Mom. Come on. Get behind.
Oh. We just had to stop, and we covered below.
In seconds, some of the first officers arrive.
So why y'all hold me, man? No, because we don't want you to go. But I was right next to the dude. I could. No, but it wasn't.
You can see them escorting us out, jumping out the car, taking out the shotguns, telling us, "Go over there, go over there." Oh, you hear the gunshots still going off at Pulse nightclub.
Look, he shot. Look. Shot. Oh my God, Jesus. Oh, thank God we left, yo.
That's why we was in the back. Thank God we was in the back. Chris got him.
He got shot. A lot of people got shot in India. A lot of people got shot in India.
There was so much going on, so many people running out with blood, so many people terrified, finding their friends, looking for their loved ones.
Where's my son? Chris!
I need everyone to come here and sit down on this car. I need everyone to sit down on this car.
Where's my son?
I know, sit down. Hey, sit down, sir. Sit down.
Body after body kept coming in front of us, deceased, shot.
Run! Go! Come out this door! I still hear gunshots. No, Justin. Guys, there's shooting more people in there.
Thank you.
Right out there, LP.
During the shooting, some of the people trapped inside the club sought help by calling or sending text messages to friends and relatives. Initially, some of them thought the gunshots were firecrackers or part of the music. Imran Yusuf, a recently discharged Marine Corps veteran working as a nightclub bouncer, immediately recognized the sounds as gunfire, which he described as high caliber, and jumped over a locked door, behind which dozens of people were hidden and paralyzed by fear, then opened a latched door behind them, allowing approximately 70 people to escape. Many described a scene of panic and confusion caused by the loud music and darkness. One person shielded herself by hiding inside a bathroom and covering herself with bodies. A bartender said she took cover beneath the glass bar. At least one patron tried to help those who were hit.
This grainy cell phone video captures the horror from inside the women's bathroom as Omar Mateen went on a shooting rampage nearby. It was recorded while more than a dozen people squeezed into one stall, some of them already shot, sharing a glass of water, trying to keep each other calm and quiet so they would not be heard by the gunman. Miguel Leyva filmed this video.
We had to be quiet because everybody whose phone was ringing and any noise he heard, he was going in that direction and just shooting people and killing them.
They huddled for 3 hours, refusing Mateen's orders to step out.
It was really hot in there. The smell of blood and just dead bodies everywhere.
According to a man trapped inside a bathroom with 15 other patrons, Mateen fired 16 times into a bathroom, through the closed door, killing at least 2 and wounding several others. According to one of the hostages, Mateen entered a bathroom in the nightclub's northwest side and opened fire on the people hiding there, wounding several. The hostage, who had taken cover inside a stall with others, was injured by 2 bullets and struck with flying pieces of a wall hit by stray bullets. Shortly after entering the women's restroom, Mateen's rifle jammed. He then discarded the rifle and switched to his Glock 17 pistol. 2 survivors quoted Mateen as saying, "I don't have a problem with black people."
And after that, he even spoke to us directly in the bathroom. He said, "Are there any black people in here?" I was too afraid to answer, but there was an African-American male in this stall where most of my body was, majority of my body was, had answered. And he said, yes, there are about 6 or 7 of us. And the gunman responded back to him saying that, you know, I don't have a problem with black people. This is about my country.
I know they say there are 2 bathrooms. One has the first, one has like 9.
How many people are with you?
And that he, quote, wouldn't stop his assault until America stopped bombing his country.
It was a wide-ranging speech about U.S. counterterrorism policy, in which he also addressed the legality of drone strikes and the controversy surrounding them.
America's actions are legal, so this is a just war.
Well, I mean, look, if the U.S. claims that these are not illegal, unlawful strikes, give us the evidence, give us the legal explanation for how you justify killing a grandmother in front of her grandchildren. How do you explain killing a young 14-year-old boy who himself, in such a poor village, had to be a laborer in a mine at that age? How do you explain those killings?
Jeremy, when U.S. troops kill civilians, presumably accidentally in Afghanistan or Iraq, there's a process under which these individuals can be compensated to a degree. I think one of the points that is being made here is because the justification for these drone strikes is kept top secret, there's no way for these people to seek any sort of redress for their grievance.
It doesn't have gloves, so we can check this one's pulse. Did anybody check this one? No.
I got no pulse.
Alright.
Terrorism in Orlando. Huh? Terrorism in Orlando. Pledges something to the Islamic State.
Deputies working the incident, or officers working the incident, okay? I have to answer other calls, but keep the phone with you. Stay where you are if you feel safe there, okay?
No, he's gonna kill us.
Alright, I'm with somebody who's texting with someone in the bathroom. The suspect is advised he's going to attach 4 vests to 4 people in 15 to 20 minutes in the different directionals of the club.
I want to let you know I'm in Orlando, and I did the shooting.
Tell me what's going on right now, Omar.
What's going on is that the airstrikes need to stop.
Yes.
Needs to stop.
And then based on his conversations, pretty quickly realized that we were dealing with someone who was self-radicalized and a terrorist.
Hi there, this is Orlando Police. Who am I speaking with, please?
You're speaking with the person who pledged his allegiance to the Islamic State, Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi, Hafizullah.
Okay,
So what am I to do here when my people are getting killed over there? You get what I'm saying?
I do. I completely get what you're saying. What I'm trying to do is prevent anybody else from getting in.
They need to stop the U.S. airstrikes.
Other survivors heard Mateen claim he had explosives, as well as snipers, stationed around the club. Patrons trapped inside called or texted 911 to warn of the possible presence of explosives.
We need FD on Kaylee, just west of Orange.
Take a bathroom with him! Come here! Put your fucking
Sierra 41-2. You in a position where you can find me a staging area?
Yes, take a bar! Bathroom slip! Cut it off!
Test well, no PD charge, running for information for you.
Where the fuck is this coming from?
County 145 Alpha 7 perimeter, tech 1. County got on, boy, you got multiple chest stuff, they're 26.
Police! Everyone else, get behind the bar! Go ahead down! Get down! Hey, watch that door to the right. Somebody get on my right. I got your right. Get the fuck on my right. Use some more on this left on the right side. Hey. Hey, he's loading. He's in there.
Got it, we've been with OPDS. You? Just got an update, 10-4 patches Metro none.
Over the next 45 minutes, about 100 officers from the OPD and the Orange County Sheriff's Office were dispatched to the scene. Among the earliest first responders to arrive were a firefighter crew from Fire Station 5 and 2 supporting firefighter paramedics from Fire Station 7. 80 fire and emergency medical services personnel from the Orlando Fire Department were deployed during the shooting. At 2:09 a.m., several minutes after the gunfire began, the club posted on its Facebook page, "Everyone get out of Pulse and keep running." At 2:22 a.m., Mateen placed a 911 call, during which he mentioned the Boston Marathon bombers. Tamerlan and Daskar Sarnaev as his homeboys.
Homeboy, homeboy. We got your t-shirt to the left fingerprints and all. You are so dumb. You are really dumb, for real. The man got away, leaving behind evidence. I was attacked by some idiot in the project.
And made a reference to Moner Mohammed Abu Salha, an American citizen who died in a suicide bombing in Syria in 2014.
I made my hijrah with only $20 in my pocket. $20 in my pocket. Only enough to buy a visa to come inside the Istanbul. From there, I had no money. I didn't have nobody to even help me to get to Syria. I came to Istanbul looking for the Mujahideen because it's very hard for where I come from. I want all the ikhwan to understand this and listen to my story. How can you say this is suicide? There's nothing is suicide. But when the kafir kills himself because he's in grief of the dunya that he's in, he says, may Allah have mercy on his soul. Astaghfirullah. How can you say to this kafir, may Allah have mercy on his soul, when the mujahid exposes himself for the sake of Allah and take out the kufr, to start Islam on the day, to lift this banner of Islam on the day, you say this is suicide? How dare you? And you will see who are the true successors on the Yawm al-Qiyamah. I love you, Mom. Stay strong for Allah. Everything I have told you about Jannah, Shahada, Jihad Fisabilillah.
Mateen said he was inspired by Abu Salha's death for the al-Nusra Front, targeting Syrian government troops, a mutual enemy of the two Salafist groups, despite their history of violence with each other, and swore allegiance to IS leader al-Baghdadi. The FBI said that Mateen and Abu Salha had attended the same mosque and knew each other, quote, casually.
You know, I was a casual acquaintance with this one guy. I used to go to the local masjidon, the mosque. This guy, mosque. He had season ticket seats next to me, and we got you know we were friendly enough, and I went over to his place once just to hang out.
Could this get more awkward?
Mateen made 2 other 911 calls during the shooting. Numerous 911 calls were made by the patrons inside the nightclub around this time. After the initial rounds of gunfire between Mateen and Gruller, 6 officers shot out a large glass window and followed the sound of shooting to the bathroom area.
Where do you need me? Just hang out. Just hang out right here for now. Friendlies are coming in and out. Hey, you know there's an opening up there, right? That's the one up there? Yes. Cover that.
When Mateen stuck his head out from one of the bathrooms, at least 2 officers shot at him. After the gunfire stopped, they were ordered to hold position instead of storming the bathroom, according to one of the officers. After about 15 to 20 minutes, SWAT arrived and had the officers withdraw, as the officers were, quote, not really in tactical gear.
I'm running this monkey farm now, Frankenstein!
SWAT then took over the operation. When asked why the officers didn't proceed to the bathroom and engage Mateen, Orlando Police Chief John Mina said it was because Mateen, quote, went from an active shooter to a barricaded gunman and had hostages.
Now, where have I heard that one before? okay? No, there's a school shooting. I know how to handle these situations. My dad taught me when I was a little girl. Just send help. One of my teachers are still alive, but they're shot.
320. Go ahead with that child information related.
Officer child is advising he is in the room full of victims at this moment.
Vuelan por el cielo y cuando ellos me hablan en mi corazón lo siento.
He also noted, quote, "If he had continued shooting, our officers would have went in there." Insert Uvalde's school shooting clip here.
The room is full of victims. Child victims.
Following that call, 30 minutes passed before the shooter was killed, and 6 months later,
he cowered out one more time.
The family's still frustrated. Pargas hasn't shown his face as county commissioner since the shooting.
I'm thinking I'm just talking to a chair. An empty chair with an empty person in there. Even if he was there, he was probably empty.
To learn more details about the massacre in Orlando, many are asking, why did it take police 3 hours to end the bloody siege? Christine Leinonen lost her son in the shooting.
I don't understand why the police took so long to get in there while our kids were in there.
After the Columbine tragedy in 1999, law enforcement changed tactics, deciding shooters had to be taken down immediately rather than wait for SWAT teams to assemble.
The last shot by Mateen was fired between 2:10 a.m. and 2:18 a.m. Rescues of people trapped inside the nightclub commenced and continued throughout the night. Because so many people were lying on the dance floor, one rescuing officer demanded, "If you're alive, raise your hand." By 2:35 a.m., police had managed to extract nearly all of the injured from the nightclub. Those who remained included the hostages held by Mateen in the bathroom, as well as a dozen people who were hiding inside dressing rooms.
What am I to do here when my people are getting killed over there? You get what I'm saying?
Mateen then tells the negotiator that there are cars outside with bombs inside them.
Your people are going to get it, and I'm going to ignite it if they try to do anything stupid.
Okay, I understand that, and I'll pass that along. Can you tell me what vehicle? Because I don't want to see anybody get hurt.
No. But I'll tell you this. It can take out a whole city block almost. Just got an update. 10-4 consequence run on.
That bathroom to the left is clear.
We're also giving an update. Planning about blocking out green forest and shirt bagging teaching short signals or the handgun. Saw the shooting. There's multiple firearms involved.
Can somebody go with me, please? Help!
Yes, off the 43. Receiving traffic from OP. They're not advising the subject still barricaded.
Don't worry. Kyle, I'm straight.
Got it, good boy.
Hands, motherfucker! Hands! Don't get down! Don't get down! Shut up! Shut up! Shut the fuck out right now!
Here, 40 guys.
All the way out! Step out now! Shut up! Get your hands up, motherfucker! Move to your right! Move to your right now! Move! Keep going! Pick him up! Pick him up! Take him out that door! Keep going! That way! That way! Lay on the ground! Lay on the ground! Where did they have to go? Take him out! Lay on the ground! Get out! Lay on the ground! I need one! I need one!
What?
We don't know! Somebody fucking grab him!
That's here for you. We're pulling victims out from front. At FD.
to the bathroom, and that's when we heard the first shots fired. And at first we didn't know what was happening, and we kind of looked at each other, and he said, "What is that?" And I was like, "I'm not sure. It sounds like the music is broken or something." And then people started piling in the bathroom, and you could smell this scent of blood and smoke, and then my eyes got really big, and I looked at him and I said, "We have to leave. We have to get out of here."
The one thing that is clear, what happened in Orlando now looms front and center over this race for the White House. This morning, Donald Trump not just doubling down on his controversial Muslim ban, he now wants to expand it, saying people from any country with a history of terrorism should not be allowed into the U.S.
We cannot continue to allow thousands upon thousands of people to pour into our country, many of whom have the same thought process as this savage killer.
And in the wake of the Orlando massacre, Trump says he's the best candidate for the gay community.
Hillary Clinton can never claim to be a friend of the gay community as long as she continues to support immigration policies that bring Islamic extremists to our country.
In what was billed as a major terrorism speech, Trump surrounded by teleprompters, but veering off script with this misleading statement about the New York-born shooter.
The killer, whose name I will not use or ever say, was born an Afghan, of Afghan parents, who immigrated to the United States.
In the battleground state of Ohio,
inflammatory, anti-Muslim rhetoric hurts the vast majority of Muslims who love freedom and hate terror.
Hillary Clinton's call for tougher gun laws drawing a standing ovation.
I believe weapons of war have no place on our streets.
In 2016, Donald Trump ran a campaign that largely avoided discussing LGBT rights, and when cornered on the topic, he deflected or couched his answers in economics. For example, when asked about a recent North Carolina law that banned transgender people from public bathrooms, Trump responded that the law was not worth the economic hardship. The law caused problems for North Carolina, with many organizations considering pulling their business. By claiming what everyone else already believed, that the law would cause economic hardship, Trump managed to be on the right side of history in that moment, even if his reasoning was financial and not moral. In the same interview, he was asked if Republican Caitlyn Jenner would be allowed to use the bathroom at Trump Tower, and Trump said yes. Of course, this is such a low bar that anyone could have leapt over it. It was already the law in New York anyway, but the talking point is now so entrenched and the news cycles go so quickly that many are likely to still remember this more than what is actually happening right now. So we'll only take into consideration Trump himself, his advisors under his authority, and the cabinet under his authority, meaning the vice president and the executive departments. The rest of the Republican Party is another topic altogether.
On January 20th, 2017, mere minutes after being sworn into office, the Trump administration removed any reference to the LGBT community from White House, Department of Labor, and Department of State websites. On the same day, Mike Pence became vice president. Pence spent his life both in politics and on the radio as one of America's leading anti-gay figures. On February 7th, Betsy DeVos assumed her office as head of the Department of Education. DeVos has ties to anti-gay organizations. On February 22nd, Trump and Attorney General Jeff Sessions removed Title IX protection for transgender students. On March 30th, the Trump administration removed the LGBT community from both the National Survey of Older Americans Act and Annual Program Performance Report for Centers for Independent Living. These are surveys that are used to provide for senior citizens, including disability, transportation, and caregiver needs. On March 28th, the Trump administration announced it would not include LGBT people in the upcoming census, despite a request from the Census Bureau the previous year. On April 14th, the Trump administration filed to dismiss a lawsuit in North Carolina alleging anti-gay discrimination. On June 1st, Trump refused to declare June as Pride Month, but did declare it Great Outdoors Month, National Homeownership Month, and National Ocean Month. On June 7th, Trump nominated Stephen S. Schwartz to U.S. Court of Federal Claims. Schwartz worked with North Carolina legislators in support of the anti-trans legislation known as HB 2. On June 15th, Trump rolled back the Office for Civil Rights and their work investigating civil rights complaints and protecting LGBT students. Internal memos revealed the new procedure was to completely dismiss discrimination claims about transgender students needing access to bathrooms. The Department of Education later confirmed this. On the same day, the Department of Education hosted anti-gay groups like Focus on the Family and Family Research Council to a conference on child welfare. Again, on the very same day, the Department of Commerce removed sexual orientation and gender identity from the agency's equal employment policy. On June 17th, much of the Presidential Advisory Council on HIV/AIDS resigned, saying that Trump does not care about AIDS. Later that year, he fired the rest of the council. Trump nominated Mark Norris to the U.S. District Court for the Western District of Tennessee. Norris supported legislation that allowed counselors to discriminate against LGBT patients. On July 26th, Trump declared a ban on all transgender service members from the military. The ban took effect on April 12th the next year, after a long battle in the courts. On August 3rd, Jerome Adams became the Surgeon General of the United States. Adams previously defended Mike Pence during his refusal to help AIDS patients during a crisis in Indiana. On September 7th, Trump nominated Jeff Mateer for the U.S. District Court of the Eastern District of Texas. Mateer is an anti-LGBT activist who once called transgender people Satan's plan. For brevity, no more judicial nominations will be mentioned, but suffice it to say, there are a lot more and a lot worse. These judges will have a deleterious effect on LGBT rights long after the Trump administration. On October 5th, the Trump administration reversed the Title VII policy that provided non-discrimination protections for transgender people.
It's Smith! They got him! Who got him? The savages! Savages? They captured him! Filthy beast! It was right!
It's perfect, Wiggins. I couldn't have planned this better myself.
Only weeks ago, in Orlando, Florida, 49 wonderful Americans were savagely murdered.
I told you those savages couldn't be trusted.
By an Islamic terrorist. This time, the terrorist targeted LGBTQ community. No good.
No way. We got you. Not a chance.
And we're gonna stop it.
I have a gay son. And I know that in his heart he feels the Republican Party doesn't embrace his lifestyle, but we do. We love
him. LGBTQ citizens. And we're going to stop it.
Are you near Paul's Nightclub?
No, I'm home. My son is stuck in the bathroom down there, and I got him on the other phone. I called before, but they called the dispatchers and all the lines were busy.
Ma'am, the phones have rolled over to the sheriff's office. They've got multiple officers and deputies on scene working the call right now, okay? Is he injured in any way, do you know?
Okay.
Ma'am, what I need him to do is just stay where he is. Don't go anywhere or do anything until the deputies and officers clear the area, okay? Just have him stay where he is.
Okay.
Okay, they've got, like I said, multiple deputies and OPD officers on scene, okay? Just tell him to stay where he is, stay tight, and follow the officers and deputies' directions.
Okay.
All right, thank you, ma'am.
A shot just hit the door of the place that I'm working in.
A shot hit your door? All right, let me try and get OPD back on the line. We're getting several calls. They're getting flooded with it.
Okay.
Hold on a second.
And when he called us, he was in the bathroom, and he said that there's a lot of dead people, and I don't know.
Okay, I understand. We are in the club. We're searching for everybody. We're pulling victims out. Please just have patience. How old is he?
He's 20.
He was in the bathroom?
Yeah, he was in the bathroom with some other people.
Please be patient. It's going to take a while before we, figure out where everybody's at, okay? As soon as we find them, I'm going to take your information, and we're going to call you.
Yeah, that's all he said. All he said is he was in the bathroom and they apologized by
the message, we called him because he posted on Facebook that he had got shot. So we said, is everything okay? He said, got shot 3 times. We said, where are you? And the response was, in bathroom. Tell them to check the bathroom.
Out to the voice of hate inside Pulse. The conversations between the gunman, Omar Mateen, and police. It's the first time we're hearing this voice.
I want to let you know I'm in Orlando, and I did the shooting.
What's your name?
My name is, I pledge of allegiance to Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi of the Islamic State.
I told you before, stay away from my door. Don't give me that brother. The
the freaks on the phone won't leave me alone.
Hi there, this is Orlando Police. Who am I speaking with, please?
You're speaking with the person who pledged his allegiance to the Islamic State. Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi, Hafizullah.
I found out. I found out. There ain't no Jesus gonna come from the sky. Now that I found out, I know I can cry.
At 2:45 a.m., Mateen called News 13 of Orlando and said, "I'm the shooter. It's me. I'm the shooter." He then said he was carrying out the shooting on the behalf of IS and began speaking rapidly in Arabic. Mateen also said the shooting was triggered by a US-led bombing strike in Iraq that killed Abu Wahi, an IS military commander, on May 6th. The crisis negotiator was present as Mateen was held up inside and holding hostages.
You need to stop the U.S. airstrike. You have to tell the U.S. government to stop bombing. They're killing too many children. They're killing too many women.
I'm still here. I'm trying to help. I need some help from you. We need to get this resolved peacefully. And we need your help to do that. I know you want to get this resolved. Is this still connected?
Officers initially believed he was armed with a, quote, suspicious device that posed a threat, but it was later revealed to be a battery that fell out of an exit sign or smoke detector. Good job, boys. Police hostage negotiators spoke with Mateen by telephone 3 times between 2:48 a.m. and 3:27 a.m. He claimed during one of the calls that he had bombs strapped to his body. He also claimed that he, quote, had a vehicle in the parking lot with enough explosives to take out city blocks. At 3:58 a.m., the OPD publicly announced the shooting and confirmed multiple injuries. At 4:21 a.m., 8 of the hostages escaped after police had removed an air conditioning unit from an exterior wall. At approximately 4:29 a.m., Mateen told negotiators that he planned to strap explosive vests similar to those used in the November 2015 Paris attacks.
The deadliest violence that city has seen since World War II.
First suicide bomb outside the Stade de France, north of Paris.
A night of terrorist bombings and shootings. French police stormed a concert hall where a Southern California band was playing, but it was too late for more than 100 hostages who were executed by the terrorists.
Aux abords du Stade de France, 2 kamikazes viennent de se faire exploser à 10 minutes d'intervalle. Les attaques sont en cours dans les 10e et 11e arrondissements de la capitale. Des fusillades à des terrasses de cafés et de restaurants, rue Alibert, puis rue de la Fontaine-au-Roi et rue de Charonne, des quartiers festifs de la capitale. À l'intérieur, beaucoup se cachent, parfois à plus de 20 dans des petites pièces. 2 policiers, arrivés les premiers sur place, abattent un des terroristes au rez-de-chaussée.
26-year-old Hasna Ait Boulassen, who became Europe's first female suicide bomber. She'd holed up there on the 4th floor with her cousin, the man French authorities call the mastermind behind Friday's attacks. That's her in a niqab. Moments later, Ait Boulassen would detonate that suicide vest.
To 4 hostages, strategically place them in different corners of the building, and detonate them in 15 minutes. OPD officers then decided to end negotiations and prepare to blow their way in. At around 2:30 a.m., Mateen's wife, after receiving a call from her mother at approximately 2:00 a.m., asking where her husband was, sent a text message to Mateen asking where he was. Mateen texted back, asking her if she had seen the news. After she replied, "No," Mateen responded, "I love you, babe." According to one source, she texted him back at one point, saying that she loved him. She also called him several times during the standoff, but he did not answer. She found out about what was happening at 4:00 a.m. after the police told her to come out of her house with her hands up. A survivor of the shooting recalled Mateen saying he wanted the United States to stop bombing his country. The FBI said Mateen told a negotiator to tell America to stop bombing Syria and Iraq, and that was why he was out here right now. During the siege, Mateen made internet searches on the shooting, while police dispatched a tactical robot to discreetly enter the restroom and allow them to communicate with hostages via two-way audio. The FBI reported that no shots were heard between the time Mateen stopped exchanging gunfire with the first responders and 5:02 a.m. when Orlando police began breaching the building's wall. Just before the breach, Mateen entered a women's bathroom where the hostages were hiding and opened fire, killing a man who sacrificed his life to save the woman behind him and at least one other, according to witnesses.
We are immediately across the street from the emergency room here at Orlando Regional Medical Center, right along Orange Avenue. And I want you to see what is going on behind me. This is looking south on Orange Avenue. You can see a very heavy police presence here right now. This is all outside the Pulse Nightclub. Whoa, and we just heard a loud boom coming from just south of our location here. We don't know what that boom was, but I think you saw everybody react.
At 5:07 a.m., 14 SWAT officers, after failing to blow open a big enough hole in the bathroom's exterior wall using a bomb due to the wall's structure, successfully breached the building when a policeman drove a Bearcat armored vehicle through a wall in the northern bathroom. They then used 2 flashbangs to distract Mateen and shot at him. The breach drew Mateen out into the hallway, and at 5:14 a.m., he engaged the officers. He was shot 8 times and killed in the resulting shootout, which involved at least 11 officers who fired about 150 bullets. He was reported down at 5:17 a.m.
Chose poorly.
At 5:53 a.m., the Orlando police posted on Twitter, "Pulse shooting. The shooter inside the club is dead." 30 hostages were freed during the police operation. The survivors were searched by police for guns and explosives.
There are more than a list of names. There are people who loved and were loved. There are people who had families and friends and dreams. And the truth is, we don't know much about some of them. We want you to hear their names and a little bit about who they were. Edward Sotomayor Jr. He worked at a travel agency that catered to the gay community. His family says he was witty, charming, and that he always left things better than he found them. He was 34 years old. Stanley Almodovar III. He was a pharmacy technician. He was the last video that we saw of him was posted on social media that showed him laughing and singing on the way to that nightclub. He was just 23. Luis Omar Ocasio Capo. He was a dancer and a barista. He was just 20 years old. Luis Vielma. He worked at the Harry Potter ride at Universal Orlando. He was just 22. Juan Ramon Guerrero, his cousin, said Juan came out to his family just this year and was afraid they might not accept him, but they did, and they embraced his boyfriend as well. He was 22. Christopher Andrew Lee, known as Drew, he was Juan's boyfriend, and his mom says he established the Gay-Straight Alliance at his high school and had love has no gender tattooed on his arm. He was 27. Xavier Emmanuel Serrano Rosado was a dancer, described as hardworking and friendly, proud of his son. He was 33. Akira Monet Murray, she recently graduated from high school, was planning to go to Mercyhurst University and play basketball. She was just 18. And Christopher Joseph Sanfeliz worked at a bank, was said to be the most positive guy around, was just 24-year-old. Luis Daniel Conde was a makeup artist, co-owned a salon with his partner. He was 39. Juan P. Rivera Velasquez, he was the partner to Luis. He was 37. Antonio Devon Brown was a captain in the, was a captain in the U.S. Army Reserve and a graduate of Florida A&M. He was 29. Alejandro Barrios Martinez was 21. Joel Rayon Paniagua was 32. Jean Nieves Rodriguez was 27. We don't have pictures of these people. Gil Marie Rodriguez Sullivan was 24. And Paul Terrell Henry was 41 years old. We think it's important that you hear their names.
To those of you who do not know me, my name is Ethan Huckle. I am the board president of TGI Network of Rhode Island. I am a queer, transgender man. I am an educator. I am a husband and a father. I asked to speak today because I have words swirling around inside me, longing to be spoken. It is likely that they will not be eloquent. They may be more raw than polished, more broken than I wish them to be. But if I do not give them voice, I will regret it. If I sink back into the quiet sorrow, instead of standing up to be counted among the mourning, among the angry, I will regret it. We are here to mourn a palpable loss. I know this because of the tears that have come in waves over the last few days. I can see the hurting in the eyes of those around me. Old wounds ripped fresh. The hugs last a few seconds longer this week. What we mourn is likely slightly different for each of us. For some, we find ourselves floating through countless memories of dance floors, the havens where we found our family, learned to love, learned our history. For some, we have the faces of friends lost, seared in our memories, lives ripped away. We come together to hold each other close, to mourn. And it is important when we do so to recognize that there are those among us who have suffered more, endured more, stood up against more. People of color, trans people, the poor, the disabled. We come together to mourn, but mourning is not enough. Debates are being waged about the terms we affix to this moment. Terrorism, as if this hatred was born in some foreign land, of some foreign principle. This hate is ours to own. It is American hate. It was born in our systems, nursed by our bigotry, strengthened by our politics, and armed by our guns.
Cash car from Baghdad lives in sin, they say, with another man, but no one
Several people who knew Mateen had speculated that he might have been gay or bisexual. A male friend of his from 2000. One classmate, who asked not to be identified by name, said Mateen asked him if he was gay. The FBI has investigated many of these claims, but has not found reasonable evidence to establish Mateen's sexual orientation. After the shooting, the Orlando Sentinel and the Palm Beach Post reported that at least 5 regular customers at the Pulse nightclub had seen Mateen visit the venue on at least a dozen occasions. Sometimes, Mateen drank in a corner by himself. Quote, and other times he would get so drunk he was loud and belligerent. A witness who recognized Mateen outside the club an hour before the shooting told investigators that Mateen had been messaging him for about a year using a gay dating app called Jacked. He gave his phone to the FBI for analysis, along with his login details for the application. A third witness said that Mateen had tried to pick up men at the nightclub. Dozens of other witnesses, however, told the Tampa Bay Times that they had never seen Mateen at the nightclub. A spokesperson for Barbara Poma, the owner of the Pulse nightclub, called the statement that Mateen had been a regular patron untrue and totally ridiculous. Mateen's father, Sadiq, denied that his son was closeted, saying, quote, if he was gay, why would he do something like this?
The owner of this club knew that 300 people are coming, or 400 people. They should have had the best security.
2 days later, after multiple reports questioned whether Mateen was homosexual, Mateen's father said, quote, I didn't see any of it, and I don't believe that was the case.
And that's the end of that story. Now get the fuck out of my house.
However, during an interview with the Brazilian television station CBT Brazil, Mateen's ex-wife claimed that his father called him gay while in her presence.
The President of the United States has called your son's actions terrorist.
That's what I say.
Do you agree?
That's what I say. What he did was act of terrorism.
You believe your son was a terrorist?
No. What he did was.
But do you believe he was a terrorist?
Sir? I said what he did was act of terrorist, but as far as him being a terrorist, I'm not aware, and I don't approve of his action. The last day that what he did, I didn't know. I wish I did know, I could have caught him. I think this question I answered times and times and times. So what I'm doing here, because I feel really bad, I'm very sad, and very mad about those families, they lost their loved one. Besides that, I lost my son. And I'm surprised and shocked. Why did he do that? I wish he was alive, I would ask him. Why did he do this? You weren't brought up to be this way. And I wanted him to get higher education, to be servant of United States. United States always is a place for higher education. And the more education you have, the better life you can have. So I love to serve this country. Has been very good to everybody, especially me.
Let me ask you this.
Yeah, I have a lot of friends.
Do you believe that your son, I'm just curious, it's been...
I'm sorry, can you allow me what I have to say?
Sure.
I have a lot of friends throughout all these times that I've been living here. And Americans are always together in a sad news. And I apologize for what he did.
I wish I did catch him. I did say this times after times after times. And I wasn't hoping for my son to do such a thing. And I can't believe, still I'm shocked. And why you want to harm your own family? When you live in the United States, everybody's your family. And I'm really surprised. I'm really surprised and shocked and sad. And my heart goes to those 50 people, their family, and was coming very respectful.
Had his behavior changed recently?
The whole thing is surprising to me. As I said that. I don't want you to ask me the same question times and times.
Would you say your son hated America?
No. So he's a born American citizen. He's born in New York. So what he was going through in his mind, what he did was a very, very select way.
Yeah.
I wish I did catch him. And that is something I wish I tell to those 50 people's family and those people they got injured. I wish I did catch him. I wish I did catch him. I wish I did know I could have caught him.
Thank you.
Following the shooting, Mateen's father stated in an online video in his native language, quote, "In this month of Ramadan, the gay and lesbian issue is something that God will punish, though the servants of God shouldn't have anything to do."
Messenger that was sent by Allah while the messenger is alive. He's with us right now, and you say no to him, even though he proved to you that he's a messenger of Allah, and he did prove to them, but they still disobeyed. And what happened when anybody, any nation disobeys the messenger while the messenger is alive? Allah sends his punishment immediately. This was all the bad news. He got the bad news out of the way. The good news is, yes, you can be a Muslim and be gay. No problem. It does not make you not Muslim. It does not nullify the fact that you are Muslim. We talked about the nullifiers of Islam in the past couple of episodes. You can go back and see exactly the conditions and what makes you not Muslim anymore. I mean, once you become a Muslim, of course. You could be a Muslim and drink alcohol. You can be a Muslim and, commit adultery with the opposite sex. You still can be a Muslim. That doesn't take away from the Islam. But you're going to be a Muslim with the sin. So, again, many of us have major sins in their lives. All of us have regular sins. Many of us have major sins.
But isn't that a sin?
Mark, just about everything is a sin. You ever sat down and read this thing? Technically, we're not allowed to go to the bathroom.
And we ask Allah for, we repent to Allah, we ask Allah for forgiveness. Now, here's the issue. Being gay or being from the LGBTQ community and being a Muslim should not contradict each other. You're still going to be a Muslim. It's that simple. But if you're asking, is it haram? Is it a major sin? Absolutely it is. I would have loved to tell you no, it's not, but unfortunately it is. There's so many evidence from the Quran itself. Allah's creation is perfect, no matter what, but not when it comes to actions. Now, Allah mentions in the Quran numerously that He has the perfect creation. والتين والزيتون وطور سينين وهذا البلد الأمين لقد خلقنا الإنسان في أحسن تقويم.
You're worth the trouble and you're worth the pain. You're worth the worry, I would do the same. If we all went back to another time, I will love you over. I will love you over. I will love you. If they follow you, don't look back. Like Dylan in the movies, on your own. If they follow you, tenderly you turn the light on in your room.
Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the chapter of Teen, I created mankind in the best, most perfect way possible. Allah's talking about our brains, how they are placed in our skulls, our hands, and the mechanism of movement and the network of our brains and the movement of our bodies, legs and stomach, and the heart pumping. This whole process is so complex, but it's perfect. There's no flaw in it. And sometimes you'll see people are born with certain defects, but they are born with certain defects on purpose. Allah is testing certain people, either them or their families. There is a wisdom of that. One person could be good, one person could be horrible. You know what I mean? So that's what is meant by the perfect creation. the physical creation of all of mankind. So, again, like I said, being gay and being Muslim, they do not contradict. You could be Muslim and gay. You could be Muslim and you could drink liquor, alcohol. You could be Muslim and, not being married and having, relationships without marriage. That does not take you out of the fold of Islam. It makes your faith way less, because you're basically doing what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has forbade us to do. Islam won't look at you like you're any less of a human being. That's very incorrect. And if somebody does this, then they're true Muslims.
The Wall Street Journal reported Mateen's ex-wife as saying that, quote, he did feel strongly about homosexuality. When asked if Mateen was gay, his ex-wife said she didn't know and recalled that he had confessed to going to nightclubs. On June 16th, the New York Times reported that the FBI was skeptical of reports that Mateen was gay but closeted, and that he had made use of homosexual bars and apps. On June 18th, the same source added that federal officials say they have found no evidence in his effects or online presence to back them up. On June 23rd, the Los Angeles Times reported that the FBI had found no evidence to support claims by those who say more gay men, and Adam for Adam spokesman said, quote, I think it was a hoax. Furthermore, the article stated that after 500 interviews, the FBI had not found any evidence of homosexuality through Mateen's web searches, emails, or other electronic data. The FBI, however, quote, has found evidence that Mateen was cheating on his wife with other women.
For being with us, I'm Justin Warmoth. The fire is now being investigated as a possible arson. Kirsten O'Connor joins us live in studio now. And Kirsten, this is all happening on the 3-month mark of the mass shooting.
To the date, yes, Justin. It is still not clear, though, if there's any connection to Omar Mateen, the Pulse nightclub shooter who used to worship at this mosque. The sheriff's office in St. Lucie County isn't commenting on a motive just yet, but they do say there is clear evidence that shows the fire was set intentionally. And now, for the first time, we are seeing the damage done in the daylight.
Lots of questions being asked tonight. The local Muslim community on edge. Police looking for a firebomber. This is what a firebomb will do. Fire investigators working the exterior of the Islamic Center in Fort Pierce, heavily damaged. This is how it went down. Early this morning, a man on a motorcycle races by the mosque. A short time later, surveillance video catches the flash of flames as the device goes off. It is intense. The subject involved runs. Locals see the flames and they call 911.
Of course, because this is a place of worship, and of course, because this incident occurred on the anniversary of 9/11, we are going to explore that.
And the temper of the times, the election, the division of the country, part of the brew that might have generated this act.
Whether this is a retaliation or some type of vengeance, that's unacceptable.
Nobody's hurt in the fire. Local Muslims, members of the Muslim community, say no way they're going to be forced out of town. I'm Hank Tester, CBS 4 News Tonight.
I have clearly said that we faced terrorist enemies who use a perverted version of Islam to justify slaughtering innocent people. We have to stop them, and we will. So if Donald suggests I won't call this threat what it is, he hasn't been listening. But I will not demonize and declare war on an entire religion. And Now that we are past the semantic debate, Donald's going to have to come up with something better. He's got one other idea. He wants to ban all Muslims from entering our country. And now he wants to go even further and suspend all immigration from large parts of the world. First, we rely on partners in Muslim countries to fight terrorists. Second, we need to build trust in Muslim communities here at home to counter radicalization, and this would make it harder. Third, Trump's words will be, in fact, they already are, a recruiting tool for ISIS to help them increase its ranks of people willing to do what we saw in Orlando.
Every mass tragedy begets a frantic search for answers, for a common understanding of what happened, for a narrative, and the 2016 Pulse massacre was no different. Not long after Omar Mateen opened fire inside a bustling gay nightclub in Orlando, Florida, the media scrambled to understand his depraved actions. Almost overnight, a narrative emerged that until now has been impossible to dislodge. Mateen planned and executed an attack on Pulse because he hated gay people. Let's say it plainly, this was a mass slaying aimed at LGBT people, Tim Weeman wrote in the Daily Beast. The massacre was undeniably a homophobic hate crime, Jeet Heer wrote in the New Republic. Some speculated that Mateen was a closeted gay man. He was likely trying to reconcile his inner feelings with his strongly homophobic Muslim culture, James S. Robbins wrote in USA Today. There was compelling evidence of other motivations. Mateen had pledged allegiance to the self-described Islamic State during the shooting and explicitly said that he was acting to avenge airstrikes in the Middle East. You have to tell America to stop bombing Syria and Iraq. They're killing lots of innocent people, he told a crisis negotiator over the phone while at Pulse. What am I to do here when my people are getting killed over there? You get what I'm saying? But this was a tricky thing to get a handle on. 49 dead and another 53 wounded, so many of them members of a historically marginalized and persecuted group. How could they not have been targeted? To say that the attack was not rooted in homophobia, one commenter wrote in USA Today, was to erase the LGBT community, causing only more pain by invalidating their experiences. Mateen's widow, Noor Salman, was tried for having allegedly helped him plan his attack. The popular understanding of the Pulse shooting as a carefully targeted massacre was on trial as well. And in acquitting Salman, a jury also delivered a verdict on the story we told ourselves about the killings. We'd gotten it wrong. In the wake of the shooting, the media and public focused on certain details, many of which were later determined to be unfounded, and discounted others, like Mateen's own explanation for his actions. If Mateen had indeed been motivated by something other than homophobia, the grief and terror of the gay community were no less real, no less urgent for it. But the narrative that was repeated and turned into fact that Omar Mateen had picked Pulse because of who its patrons were and what they represented had the effect of obscuring another smaller injustice, the prosecution of Mateen's wife, a Muslim woman who by her family's account was beaten by Mateen.
Lawyers painted two very different pictures of Noor Salman today. On one hand, a former special ed student who loved Hello Kitty. On the other, a manipulator who knew exactly what her husband, Omar Mateen, was planning to do the night that he went on a killing rampage at a Florida nightclub last June. He shot 49 people to death and wounded 53 others before police killed him. Prosecutors say Salman admitted to the FBI that she had cased the club with Mateen before the attack, as well as downtown Disney, and that the couple discussed which target might make people more upset. Prosecutors also say she saw her husband walk out of the house the night of the attack with a gun and ammunition. But the defense says she didn't know his intentions, wasn't religious, and had no motive or role to play.
Had any contact with ISIS, watched anything, done anything herself. You know what she is? She's alive.
stop putting excuse to him, looking for someone to blame. Remember you girl that you saw in a bar. Remember you said you saw the getaway car. Thinking like a playboy with the law.
Solomon might have been a sympathetic figure in a different context, but I think now of Bob Kunst's sign. A longtime human rights activist, Kunst was protesting outside the federal courthouse, just 2 miles from the nightclub where the tragedy occurred. As Solomon's trial began, "Fry her," his sign read, "till she has no pulse." It didn't seem to occur to many people that Noor Salman might have been a victim of Mateen too. The media missed the story. Charles Swift, one of Salman's lawyers, said, because they depended on the government to tell it to them.
Bad idea.
Mateen may very well have been homophobic. He supported ISIS after all, and his father told NBC that his son once got angry after seeing 2 men kissing. But whatever his personal feelings, the overwhelming evidence suggests his attack was not motivated by it. As far as investigators could tell, Mateen had never been to Pulse before, whether as a patron or to case the nightclub. Even prosecutors acknowledged in their closing statements that Pulse was not his original target. It was the Disney Springs shopping and entertainment complex. They presented evidence demonstrating that Mateen chose Pulse randomly, less than an hour before the attack. It is not clear he even knew it was a gay bar. A security guard recalled Mateen asking where all the women were, apparently in earnest, in the minutes before he began his slaughter. In her news conference on June 21, 2016, then U.S. Attorney General Loretta Lynch called the attack, quote, an act of terror and an act of hate, and pledged to examine all possible motivations for Mateen's actions. 7 months after the shooting, Salman was hit with federal terrorism charges for allegedly aiding and abetting her husband. But hate crime charges never came, and now you know why, said Swift. Despite the overwhelming public consensus, there apparently wasn't enough evidence for a hate crime classification. In fact, the 2016 Hate Crimes in Florida report does not include the 49 victims of the Pulse shooting in its official total. These crimes were not classified as hate crimes by the Orlando Police Department. From the start, the evidence against Salman was paper thin and hinged on a, quote, confession that an FBI agent hand-wrote for her after an 11-hour interrogation in the immediate aftermath of the massacre that was neither filmed nor recorded. Her lawyers maintained the statement was coerced. In it, Salman claimed she knew Mateen was headed to Pulse that night, and that they'd scouted the location together. But within a few days of the massacre, the government had reason to believe her statement was false, based on data from their cell phones.
In practice, there are 2 varieties of lies and dishonest actions by the police. Those which are questionable but perfectly legal, and those which are illegal but are done all the time anyway. In the case of the former, laws that permit reasonable deception by the police have been codified both locally and by the Supreme Court in landmark cases that have granted more and more leeway to the police over time. Now you are handcuffed and trapped in a room with poor lighting. You have seen enough movies to know that you are about to be interrogated. What you may not realize is that the police are about to lie to you over and over to trick you into confessing. They either want you to confess to something that you did not do, or confess to something small that you did do, while telling you that if you do this, there will be few, if any, consequences. The police have so many lies they can tell, and the courts almost always back them up. People v. Steger says the police can lie to you about what will happen to your friends if you don't confess. Frazier v. Cupp says the police can lie about someone else confessing to the suspect's involvement in a crime, prompting them to confess whether they did it or not. These tactics sometimes create false confessions, especially considering People v. Gurrell says the police can pretend that they have enough evidence to put the suspect away for a long time, and that confessing is their best way to avoid a lengthier sentence. Say, I want a lawyer. Any mild ambiguity allows police officers to claim that your request was unclear, even when it is obvious they know exactly what you are asking. Any claim from the officer that you are not in trouble and that they only want to talk is a lie. If you have been arrested, trouble has found you. The officer is only trying to make you put down your guard. Never speak to the police during interrogation or sign anything without a lawyer present. Do not sign the Miranda rights waiver. The police may continue asking you questions even after you have requested a lawyer. This is a common tactic, but you are under no obligation to answer these questions alone. They're hoping you will slip up and say something incriminating or make a false confession. The only thing you should say is your request for a lawyer, repeated the exact same way each time so that they know you are stonewalling them and that there is no hope in interrogating you before the lawyer arrives. Police are hoping that the wait between the arrest and the arrival of your lawyer will be enough to make you crack.
On the night of the attack, Mateen first went to Disney Springs and Eve, Orlando, both of which had heavy, visible security, before ending up at Pulse after a Google search for, quote, downtown Orlando nightclubs. Notably, his search did not include the words gay or LGBT. The evidence suggested it was a crime of opportunity, the location chosen at random. If Mateen didn't know where he was going that night, how could his wife have known? How could she, in the words of the June 15th, 2016 New York Post cover, have saved them all? Obama's disgraceful terror tantrum.
For a while now, the main contribution of some of my friends on the other side of the aisle have made in the fight against ISIL is to criticize this administration and me for not using the phrase radical Islam. They know who the nature of the enemy is. So there's no magic to the phrase radical Islam. It's a political talking point. It's not a strategy. And if we fall into the trap of painting all Muslims with a broad brush and imply that we are at war with an entire religion, then we are doing the terrorist work for them.
Nobody reports to the FBI or the police, and they just don't do it for whatever reason. And we have to get that, and we have to have a ban on people coming in from Syria, coming in from different parts of the world with this philosophy that is so hateful and so horrible.
But sir, let me interrupt you on that one right there. How would the ban have made a difference here? This man was a United States citizen. He was born in New York. He lived in Florida.
No, that's right. But we have many people coming in whose hate is equal to his, and just as bad, and even worse, frankly. And we have to stop people from coming in. We have no documentation.
Prosecutors decided to pursue charges against Salman anyway, knowing full well that the statements she gave the FBI could not be corroborated. It was as if authorities were drawing up an indictment to fit the public's perception of the crime, even if their strongest proof was at odds with other evidence they'd collected. The agents had coerced Noor into agreeing that Omar Mateen had cased the Pulse and selected the nightclub as his target, said Swift in an email. And it was not in the government's interest to contradict that narrative. Beyond the courtroom, the narrative had taken on a powerful dimension in Orlando. All over town, in bars and restaurants, you could see signs reading, "We will not let hate win." Despite the thinness of the case against her, there was no public reckoning over whether the aggressive prosecution was warranted or just.
Now, one of Salman's former teachers telling ABC News Salman had learning difficulties. In an exclusive interview, Susan, who asked us not to use her last name or show her face, saying she was in all special education classes.
Noor had difficulty with retention. She had difficulty with conceptualizing, understanding. I thought she is incapable of being an accomplice. Absolutely incapable.
Salman's family confirming Susan was Noor's teacher and that Noor was a special education student and does not have the ability to understand cause and effect. The family telling ABC News Noor is completely innocent and was unaware of the attack.
In May of 2017, Jacqueline Campbell, a leading expert on domestic violence, who evaluated Salman at the request of her attorneys, confided that she was extremely coerced about the case. There was an undeniable sadism in how the government went about its case. Salman had originally been granted bail by a magistrate judge in California, but prosecutors appealed, asking a federal judge to keep her behind bars. They pointed to her confession that she had scouted Pulse with her husband, even though by this point they had strong evidence to the contrary, as a sign she was a danger to society. At the time, Judge Paul Bryan sided with the government and kept Salman imprisoned before her trial. During the trial, when an FBI agent testified that he had determined, quote, within days of the massacre, that Salman had never been in the vicinity of Pulse based on her cell phone data, Byron stopped him. "You knew within days?" he asked. "Yes," the agent responded. "Did you tell anyone?" Yes, the agent said. "Whom did you tell?" "My superiors," the agent replied. Byron asked for their first and last names. Later, after excusing the jury, he asked prosecutors to explain themselves. Why had they misled him when they asked him to deny Salman bail? "I'm very concerned by that," Byron said. It seemed he had taken it personally. His decision on Salman's bail, based in part on faulty information, was responsible for her long separation from her child. By the time of the verdict, Salman had spent 14 months in jail. The judge's scolding of the prosecution was perhaps the most dramatic moment in the trial. It suggested to those listening that the government's tactics were shady and not to be trusted. Between the lines, a different story from the government was being told in the courtroom about a different sort of quintessentially American crime. She was not his partner, she was not his peer, and she was certainly not his confidant, one of Salman's lawyers, Linda Marino, said. Mateen was a domestic abuser who treated Salman with disrespect and violence. Her only sin was that she married a monster, she said. Salman told her family that her husband had beat her, he raped her, he controlled her life. Her story was echoed by Mateen's first wife, who said he physically assaulted and terrorized her during their short marriage. Although Salman is now free, the human toll of the decision to prosecute her is very real. The trial itself was a kind of punishment. For 2 weeks, Salman, who did not testify, sat in court with dark circles under her eyes, shifting nervously in her seat and speaking quietly to her lawyers. At least once, she was heard protesting that the FBI was lying. She listened as she was described by prosecutors as a cunning, callous woman who would go along with the plan of mass murder for a sparkly diamond ring, and by her defense team as a simple-minded dupe victimized by her philandering husband. She missed things, important things, while she was locked up. Her grandmother died during her jury selection for the trial. Salman did not get to say her goodbyes or attend the funeral. Most painfully, she was separated from her son for over a year, unable to hug or kiss him. Salman's acquittal was historic. The government rarely loses terrorism cases, but her victory hardly felt like one. Right away, it was circumscribed by the very jury that had set her free. In a statement sent to the Orlando Sentinel after the trial, the foreman of the jury said jurors suspected Salman knew her husband was planning something, even if she didn't know the date or location. After the verdict came in, Salman's lawyers stood in front of the federal courthouse and berated the media, the same media that had gotten the story so very wrong. A year and a half ago, you believed she dropped him off at Pulse. Swift, one of Salman's attorneys, said to the gaggle of reporters, you believed they scouted Pulse. On the same steps, Salman's uncle thanked the judge and jury and said the family looked forward to getting Salman the best therapist money could afford. They just wanted to get her home to her son as soon as possible. Too much damage had already been done.
The casualties inside the club include
I was shaking. Somebody I knew did this. Somebody I was with did this.
In the beginning, it was pretty magical.